I'm watching it too on YouTube, so I can see.
Steve, I can't be talked to, by the way. I'm live with nothing.
All right, we are live.
All right, good evening. My name is Mr. Wilczek, and I'm here with Ms. Dow, and we're going to go over our virtual learning overview here at Exeter School District. We hope you are all doing well, and we're excited to have our students back in the district and excited to share with you what we have ready for them. And hopefully we can answer all your questions that you have tonight. So I'm going to turn it over quick to Ms. Dow and just let her introduce herself. She's going to be my counterpart that's on the call tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mrs. Dow. I am an instructional technology specialist with the school district, just like Mr. Wilczek is, where we've been working super hard this last month to get ready to have your children back. Even if it can't be in person, we're getting ready for that to happen virtually and doing all we can to make sure our teachers are ready for you. We will be going through various pieces this evening, which Mr. Wilczek will be going over, and we're here to field your questions as well. So use that Google form if you have questions for us.
So Ms. Dow is talking about the Google form, so I'm going to advance that for you. So here's our link to the questions. So if you have any questions, we're going to ask you to post to this link. This recording video will be recorded and available at a later date, and we will send this out as on our social media platforms and possibly through email, but it'll also be on our website. So if you want to review this later or have to step out, we understand. So we'll record this for you. But at any point, if you have questions, please post them to this URL, which is bit.ly/Exeter virtual questions. So bit.ly/Exeter virtual questions, and we'll monitor them. Ms. Dow and Mr. Calamita, who's also on the call, is going to monitor that. There's also the chat available open in the YouTube channel. So if you want to post those, any questions there, please do. If you have any problems, technicalities, the sound's not clear, let us know, and we'll make sure that everything's working. So let's jump in here. So this is what we're going to work on tonight, or take a look at. We're going to go through some tools. We've been getting a lot of questions about how do I find this, or how do I recover my passwords, and where should the students go? Well, I want to make sure that's clear of all the information you need for the first day of school. We'll then go into logging into the Chromebooks and the iPad. The iPads are assigned to kindergarten students, so we're going to look at that for a brief moment and just go over really what the kindergarten students are going to see, but every other student in grade 1 all the way up through 12th grade is going to have a Chromebook. We'll look at the Accessing Schoology Online Learning class. The classes that we configured for all the students are in there and should be live already. The teachers are still populating with content, and some of that content will not open until the first day of school, but you'll find that some of that information is out there, most likely your students' portal page, and we'll look at that for the teacher portal page. Then we'll go over really navigating courses students. I want you to see, as students and parents, really what the students are going to see and answer any questions you have about that layout. I want to make sure you're comfortable with that layout. We made it very much uniform. We took all the questions that you had from last year and all the surveys that we took, and we tried to compile a very structured layout to engage our students and really create a great learning environment. One of the components of that is really going to be collaboration. We're really looking to try and create an environment, not just online, but really where students can collaborate, meet with others, create small breakout rooms, and really engage with their teachers and other students and make this as a robust experience as possible. Then last thing we're going to jump to is the Zoom. So we did purchase Zoom so we could have more robust online live learning sessions. And we're going to look at how that looks on the Chromebook and answer any questions you have about that. So the first thing I'm going to do is jump out to our website and just highlight a couple quick things that you might need. So if we go in here, you're going to see that our district website has a lot of information. So I want to highlight some things that are really important to answer a lot of your questions. So the first one is this Exeter Full Virtual Plan. This plan is a 27-page document that goes into very much detail about everything that's going on. So if you go through this, you're going to see all the goals and the overviews, the definitions, some of the calendar information, how we're going to communicate, and everything that you could possibly potentially want. This is the plan that was created prior to going virtual and really trying to flush out what this would look like for everybody's experience. There's also schedules in here. So if you look, there's, I know that some people asked particular questions about timeline and when school is going to start. So there is some example schedules in here. I believe they're as accurate as possible for starting time. I do know the junior high one changed prior to the initial rollout, but that is updated in here as well. So you'll see that the schedules are similar to bricks and mortar in that they provide a consistent class schedule throughout the day. We tried to include 50% time at least that was synchronous, so the students are with their teachers on a regular basis, day in and day out. Along with that, you're going to find this technical support button. So this life buoy is your life preserver, and that's going to help you find important information. So if we click on that technical support information, it takes us to this website, which is etsd.us here to help. So that's our URL. So if you type in etsd.us here to help, you will be directed to this page. And on this page, a couple of things to point out. If you didn't get a Chromebook yet, you still need one. Please make sure you fill out this form. The one that a lot of people don't realize is frequently asked question page. There's a ton of information in this page. It's going to tell you how to recover your passwords for your students, how to get your codes to create a parent account, how to log in, and all kinds of information about where the portals are and everything that you potentially need or have a question about. We tried to really create that robust document for you. So check that out. I think it'll answer a lot of your questions. We are available as well. So if you can't find the answer to your questions in these documents, please direct yourself to etsd.us tech help. And that is where you could submit a tech ticket or to reach out to one of our technicians for repairs or any other questions. And everybody always asks us, how do I put a ticket in, Mr. Wilczek, if my computer doesn't work? And we know that, so we have a phone number as well for you. So if your phone or your computer has failed and you can't get on anything else, your phone number is down here. And we do have staff supporting that during our regular business hours. All right, so that's a really important page. So if you see, those are all on the district website, and they will reside kind of as more things come in, they'll get pushed down here on the headlines, but look for the eagle head here, and then also that light buoy here. All right, and the last thing I want to point out is our portal pages. And we're going to go into this in more detail in a moment, but you'll see that on each district page, if we go into the For Student tab, or sometimes it's actually right here, it just says portal page. And I'm at the high school. You're going to see that inside these portal pages, you'll see the links to all the products we have. We get a lot of questions about Schoology. So Schoology is going to be our learning management system. That's where all that courses, it's really the students' homerooms, their student classrooms are there. So instead of going to class 101, you're going to go to Schoology course 101 or class 101. And inside there, that's where you're going to access all the materials and resources and links and everything you need. All right, they are going to log in. This program, though, is specific to Exeter. So we have a special link to get in Schoology. So if you go to Schoology.com, you can't get in. So that's why we create these portal pages. And I'm going to show you when we do the demo of the Chromebook a little more about that and really how to get in there. But we've had that question a couple of times about going to Schoology. How do we get in there? And that would be the way, just really using these portal pages. On the Chromebooks, when they hit the home button up in the upper left-hand corner, it'll actually take them right to their portal page for their grade level or their building. So it takes them right in there. Ms. Dow, is there any questions?
We have a couple, and the first is, how and when do we pay our $10 Chromebook insurance fee? So right now, we are going to have that on as part of our one-to-one program. We are going to have that insurance fee, and currently that's going to be anyone from grade 6 and up. Because our 5th grade Chromebooks have not come in yet, they are so backed up and we can't get them from a manufacturer. So right now, those students have loaners, those 5th grade students. So anyone with a loaner from the district will not need to pay insurance. 6th grade and up, we've been trying to focus currently on getting devices into folks' hands. Look for a communication soon that will allow you to pay that insurance through the month of September on the e-portal page, or you could send a check in to do that. So that communication is coming.
Great. Anything else?
And just the other question that ties into that, I guess, is when will the 5th graders get their new Chromebooks? Again, the plan is currently when we go back face to face, we're hoping they will be in by then from the manufacturer. They will be ready for them when they come back to school, and they'll be able to trade their loaner in with those new Chromebooks. Again, that's all dependent on manufacturer availability and when they come into us. That's it for now. We'll check.
Yeah, the Chromebooks are district-wide or country-wide are really back-ordered. So we ordered them many months ago, and we haven't got them. So as soon as we get them in, we are going to try and swap out the 5th grade Chromebooks. But if you do have problems with that, with those Chromebooks that are older machines, please put those tickets in. We'll make sure that your hardware is working fully. All right.
That's it right now, Mr. Wilczek. You're good.
Thank you. Great. All right. So let's jump into the Chromebook. So I saw another question here. How do we log into Clever, and how do we get in the Chromebook? I'm actually going to show that now. So let's jump into the Chromebook login screen. So students are all going to have a Chromebook, and they're going to see this screen when they first go into it. So the login is going to be their username at myexeter.org. We see a lot of students say that their accounts don't work. The reason that we often see is they forget the MY in front of Exeter. So it's myexeter. They also forget to add the .org. We see .edu, .com, all that kind of stuff. So it is myexeter.org. So remember, they do that. Once they get there, they'll just add their password. Their passwords are randomized. We did not change them from last year. So if the students remember their passwords from last year, they can retrieve them in that FAQ document on the website. If you don't know how to, what they are, the parents can log in and retrieve them from their Skyward account. We have directions how to pull them. There's a report in that FAQ document and in Skyward to retrieve your password for your students. We did just add yesterday as well the codes for a parent to sign up for Schoology. When we get over to Schoology, I'll show you how to create a parent account kind of briefly. And there's a code that you enter to tie to all your students. And that's where that would be as well. So once you get into your Chromebook, I'm going to show you a little bit how to navigate through the Chromebook and really what the Chromebook looks like once you get in.
Mr. Wilczek, the sound doesn't seem to be working.
No sound?
Yeah, no sound.
Sorry about that. Let me fix that. Thank you for telling me.
Sure.
Try that again. How about that?
After logging into the Chromebook, you'll be taken to the Chromebook desktop screen, and you'll see that we push some programs to the bottom of the icons down here. So you'll see that they list at the bottom here, kind of more like a Mac machine where there's a shortcut here. If you click on the circle in the bottom left corner, you'll see that's the launcher. You'll see the most common programs, but if you click this little arrow up, you see that all the additional programs work here. And if you click on the circles on the right, you can see that there are additional programs here. As a student, they can drop and drag these around and reorder them. You'll see that Zoom is also on this. I'm going to go into Zoom in a second and show you a little more about Zoom, but that's where you would find the programs. So we go into the Chrome browser. The default homepage for students is actually the portal based on where that student resides. The student's a senior high school student, this example student. You're going to see that they have the portal page. You can also find the portal pages, which we talked about earlier, on the district page, the district building page, and then under for student, and then student portal. So you see on this page, once again, these are all the icons and the resources that students need. So if they need to get to Schoology, they just click on the Schoology link, and you'll see that it takes them right into their Schoology link automatically, or it'll ask them to log in with their Google account. Additionally, there are some programs towards the bottom. We do use Clever. Clever is our online portal login. So if there are sites that don't require or don't accept the Google login, Clever Login is a password manager that we use. So what's going to happen is when they click on the Clever button, it takes them to a site and basically makes those sites that aren't Google enabled. So it'll bring up a login. It's taking a little bit here, but it'll actually bring up a Google login button. And any site that wasn't able to be logged in with the Google button, you can now do through Clever. So you'll see this pops up, and we see a student teacher login button. You select that button, and that'll log in to Clever. There's also these Clever badges. So our students in our younger grades are, I believe, 1, 2, and possibly some in second. The teachers or the tech support staff printed out a badge for you. You can click on this icon. It'll bring up a camera and then allow you to log in with the badge directly in. So it's kind of a nice tool for students who aren't good with their passwords. Along the left side of our portal pages are going to be additional resources and help, and you will see the request technical support on this page as well. In the bottom right-hand corner are all your features for your Chromebook. So if you click on any of these icons down here, you'll see that there's the Wi-Fi icon. So if you click on that, you'll be able to connect to your Wi-Fi network. There's your sound, and then your master settings is this gear icon. So if we click that gear icon, the program is restricted based on the Exeter account. So our Exeter account is owned by Exeter, or the machine, and the account that students use is owned by Exeter. And you'll see that it says it's managed by my Exeter. And what that means is that we're only going to allow certain settings in here, certain things will be blocked. So this is our Exeter student account, but anything that's open, they can definitely use. We encourage students to, connect their own headphones to it, plug it in if they want to do that. The Bluetooth works. And then any kind of device configuration that is available to them, they can change. So if they want to change their display or their backdrop, the wallpaper, they're allowed to do that based on any of the settings that they do find in here. So that's a quick overview of the Chromebook. If you have any problems with that, please remember to submit a ticket. And we are fully staffed with our tech support team to help you repair any of those problems that you'll see.
So that's going to give you kind of a quick overview of the Chromebook. A couple questions that we had this morning were that, can we buy a wireless mouse or Bluetooth mouse and attach it to the Chromebook? And absolutely, I encourage that. There are a couple out there. I know I bought one for my daughter because she's going to be online as well. And she really appreciated that. So it is kind of nice when they're doing this more technically work online, they can buy that. Another parent asked, can we add a monitor? And absolutely, the Chromebooks have an HDMI out port. So if you'd like to extend the monitor or make the monitor larger, you can buy an external monitor, and you would need an HDMI cable to plug outside or coming out of the monitor into the Chromebook. The other question we had was about a printer. If you'd like to buy a printer, I like to read on paper sometimes as well. You can definitely buy a printer and attach that to the Chromebook. The Chromebooks have now the ability to actually plug right into a printer, which actually works the easiest way to do it, but you can also do a wireless printer. So if you set up a wireless printer at home, inside that gear icon that I just showed, you can actually find an option to add the wireless printer. It is a little more technical, but there are instructions on that portal page on the left side if you want to do that. Ms. Dow, is there any other questions about that?
No questions at this point. Thanks, Mr. Wilczek.
I'm going to turn it over to you to show a little bit about the kindergarten iPad logins and answer any questions.
Yes,
So
each of our kindergartners, well, first graders through 12th graders have a Chromebook. Again, remember me mentioning those supply issues. We have a iPad for each of our kindergartners, and we do think this is actually going to work out better because with their experience with technology as a 5-year-old, that we think that this is a good solution for them and will be a little more streamlined and simple for them to use. So we're going to take a look at some basics. We'll come back to this and look at the Zoom portion when we look at Zoom a bit later, but this is just some basic navigation of what you'll find on that iPad and how to navigate around to get to Schoology and talk a little bit more about Clever. So you should see, and I'm going to turn off my video just to save on some bandwidth here. So you should see the iPad screen here. When you're there's no, you may set a passcode, but there is no passcode set. And when you come in, you'll see any apps. This isn't an exact replica of what you see, but you'll see apps, and you can access any of them through the iPad. The main apps you'll want to use are, we've put a link for Schoology on the page and that Clever app. You'll also see different apps that your teacher will talk to your child about. You don't need to worry about them yet, such as Reading Eggs, First in Math, Brain Pop, things, Dreambox, apps like that. Again, no need to worry about setting those up yet. Your child's teacher will talk about those as the time is appropriate. The two I want to talk about today are Clever. You should have, when your child received their iPad, a QR code. And we've heard some folks are saying, well, what do I do with that QR code? That QR code is a great tool for our little ones who really don't have letter recognition yet on a keyboard, and to help you out as parents be able to log in without having to type that username and password. We do have to do that for Schoology, but outside of that, so if for some of the apps we use, if you tap on the Clever app, you're going to get a camera, and I'm going to switch. If you see in the top right-hand corner, it's coming up at me at my ceiling right now, but if I tap in the top corner, it switches that camera around, and I have a sample QR code here. It will recognize that. It's being a little slow because I'm sharing. So I'm going to try to give it time. It's scanning it and going in, and it's now going to flip me right to Clever's webpage. Again, this is a sample student for confidentiality's sake, obviously, so I won't see all the links that you might see with your kindergartner, but those links up at the top will link. You'll see there's instant login applications, there's Reading Eggs, Discovery Education. Again, you'll see Dreambox, you will see First in Math, things like that. And when you tap on those, it will launch the app for you and log your child in right away. Because again, we know kindergartners, we don't want to waste time on trying to get students logged in. We want them to be in and be able to work right away. So Clever is to automatically log you into apps. You're also going to see a Schoology icon on the page.
Instead of using the app, we have decided to use the website even on the iPad. It works much better. It's a much better experience, we feel. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. And it is going to launch Safari and launch me into a Google account page asking me to log in. Now, I've logged in before. You may the first time have to log in for your kindergartner and type that username that Mr. Wilczek talked about in the beginning of this presentation. I already have a student, and so I'm going to tap on their name. I've added them already. I may, once in a while, again, I may have to type in the password, and that will log me into Schoology. What's nice about using it this way is your experience, if you have a kindergartner or a upper grade student, will be the same if from using Schoology this way. Mr. Wilczek's going to talk about navigating Schoology and look at Schoology, but this way Schoology looks exactly the same for your kindergartner as it does for a student in any other grade who is using a Chromebook. And again, Mr. Wilczek's going to talk about how to navigate Schoology. So those really are your basics. You do have, again, all other apps, and all those apps I talked about through Clever will appear, but you really want to log in. That Clever system and that badge for your student will let you automatically log in and go to those apps as needed.
So Ms. Dow, I see some questions if you want to pick those up in regards
Sure,
to.
absolutely. So I have a question that someone has their kindergarten iPad, and what do we do if our apps are not loading or live? If you are connected to your internet and you still cannot get those apps to load, please do submit a support ticket. I know we say that a lot, but that really is the fastest way to get assistance with that, to make sure that our IT gentleman can help you work through that process. You can either put in a ticket or call during our business hours. You can call the technology number hotline to be able to talk to someone there, and they will get back to you. Make sure if you put in a ticket that you leave a phone number where someone can contact you. We had another question. My fifth grader Chromebook's touchscreen is not working. Should all Chromebooks have a touchscreen? The loaner Chromebooks that fifth graders, the upcoming fifth graders have, none of our loaners have touchscreen capability. Again, we had to go into our supplies that we already had and distribute those to students. Unfortunately, because of availability and budgets and such, we are not purchasing touchscreen Chromebooks moving forward. We are going to keep with a regular screen Chromebook. Those are the only questions I have, Mr. Wilczek.
Yeah, that's all. So just to reiterate what Ms. Dow said is our whole device and structure is to try and make it as simple for students as possible. So you'll see that we have a system called a single sign-on, and what that single sign-on means is that as students log into the iPad, that Clever login, or they log into that Chromebook, that login is going to retain and get them into their tools that they need. So when we log into the Chromebook, when they go to the portal page and click on that Schoology link, there is not going to be any additional logins that they need to do. So much like when they go to that Clever login, when they click on the Dreambox and they click on the Reading Eggs, it's all just going to be saved and it takes them right in. So for kindergarten student, for the most part, they just need that badge with the QR code. They don't need to type anything because we know that that can be very cumbersome for students to type a password that we have to make complex for security reasons, and it becomes very cumbersome. So 95+% of the tools that we have really are single sign-on. Between Google login buttons or the Clever logins, you'll find that most students only have to log into their device initially, and then it'll retain. One of the questions that we had from this morning is, can I use my personal Chromebook? And the answer is yes, you can. So if you have a Chromebook at home, and a lot of kids do nowadays, they're great devices. I just bought a new one for my daughter. I think I paid $180 for it. So it's a great device for my daughter. They can log into that Chromebook with their district account. So what we want them to do is, if they're going to use it for schoolwork, they log all the way off the device and they log into the Chromebook with their district account. We don't want them to go right to the portal page when they're logged into the Chromebook with their personal account for a lot of reasons, but it'll cause a lot of those single sign-on issues. So if you have a Chromebook at home that your students want to use, have them log it all the way off and log all the way back on, and everything should set up and actually configure just like your district Chromebook. Know that when they do that, because we manage their accounts, they will actually get our filter. So when they do that at home, they'll actually be receiving a filtered internet. So they won't be getting to Netflix and Facebook and anything else that's open on your own personal internet. So we monitor that, which as a parent, I think it's a great thing. My daughter might not think so, but it is kind of a nice thing to have so that I don't have to hassle with that. I think there was one more question in there.
Yeah, the question, Mr. Wilczek, was about using, they have a Windows laptop at home,
Hmm?
and they don't have the apps that we have in the Chromebook. So those apps that you see in the Chromebook really are links, shortcuts to websites. There are some built-in apps. Zoom, like Mr. Wilczek's going to show you, is an app, but you can use your Windows machine. You're really going to want to be careful, and I would use Chrome. Make sure you're using Chrome and
log into the Chromebook, you'll be taken to
log
the
your child into Chrome on that machine and with their My Exeter account, and then go to the portal, and they should have access to everything they need, because most of what we do logs in through Google. So that student portal page will become important to you if you want to use a Windows machine, as well as logging into Chrome with their My Exeter account.
Yeah, I'm gonna. We get this question a lot, so I'm gonna share this. I apologize for playing that video while you were talking. I want to show this option. So when you're in a Windows machine, it is important that you configure that Windows machine kind of with their own personal account. And I actually have a couple on my computer here. So in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see an icon. We highly recommend using Chrome on the Windows machine. So install the Chrome browser. And in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a picture or potentially an icon. And you're going to see that I have my accounts here. So I have my teacher account, I have my student account. Right here, there's an add button. So just click on that add button and go through this process and add your student's account. It will actually ask, I'll actually do it quick. I'll show you what it looks like. So you can choose any icon here. It's actually going to change. But when you get to this, just click on this new user sign in and actually log in as a student. So if I go in here and log in as a student, it'll actually load all the information that we have and all the shortcuts and that kind of stuff in here. So I'm not going to go through all the way, but basically what happens, it'll come up, and this is actually my student account. So you'll see on Chrome, I jump quickly to it. You'll see that I'm logged in as that student. And at the top of my screen, I have all my shortcuts that I would have on my Chromebook as a student. So it actually propagates over it and jumps over so that you can actually save favorites to the Chromebook and they'll actually appear on this account. So it's a really nice tool that we recommend doing. So if you have a Windows machine, that's my recommendation is how you would do it. All right. Anything else, Gustav?
No, I think we're good. There are no other questions. You can move on.
All right, great. So let's jump into the virtual instruction and Schoology layout. So the virtual instruction is really probably why a lot of you are here. We really want to see what is this going to look like, right? So we've been spending, Ms. Dow and I've been spending months, weeks, in a contingency plan, worrying, what's going to happen this year. We both have children, and we really wanted to have a good quality instruction for our kids, if that was face-to-face or virtual. So we've been working and really kind of developing this program based on industry standards and really what we know, what works, and really trying to collaborate. Our core component, this goes all the way from everybody in Exeter, is that we want kids to have a genuine experience where they connect with their teachers and they connect with their students, and we have time for them to really learn, but also collaborate with other children. It's so important in a school environment to have that social component, and we built a lot of that into this so that kids can have time to work with each other and get to know each other and get to know their teacher. So I hope you find that we really created a good schedule for that. So this is going to be the course layout. So when you do get into Schoology on the iPad or on the Chromebook, you're going to find that all the courses are the same. We looked at all the feedback from all the surveys we took and every comment that a parent made, and really tried to compile them and try to really answer all those questions. So, and we love them. So please, if there is a problem or you have a comment, please let us know. We want to hear those. We want to do our best job for our students, and we know as parents you do as well. So, please give us feedback on this. So what you're going to see in the course is that they're going to have a course picture, which we're asking to be the student, the teacher, or their classroom, something that relates to really represents who they are. Along with that, you're going to see at the top of the class, there's these course updates. I call it kind of like a ticker tape update, and you're going to see a lot of information up there from really daily messages. Hey, good morning. It's Joey's birthday this morning. Let's all celebrate Joey today. It's his 13th birthday, and that kind of stuff. Or, today I had to take a sick day because my daughter's sick, and I'm going to have a sub, and Miss Dow is going to cover my class for me today. So stuff like that, those morning announcements, those important things that potentially need to be posted up there. Along with that, you're going to have the course headquarters, and we're going to jump into this. I'm going to show you this live in a second, not just some pictures, but inside the course headquarters, you're going to have all kinds of information about your teacher, maybe an introduction, maybe possibly a video, some information about their contact information, what email, what phone number, when they're available, and a little bit about their course. Along with the course headquarters information about your teacher, you're also going to find all kinds of stuff about the class. So what is the class? What's the grading policy? What's our expectations? What textbooks do we use? What resources do we have on a regular basis? Basically anything that a teacher would really give the student on the first day, handing out those textbooks, handing out portfolios, how to take notes, everything that the student needs is going to be in that course headquarters. And what Ms. Dow and I did and developed in this is that we have every teacher from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade has that course headquarters, and that's going to appear at the top of your class. The only thing that might be above that course headquarters is a link, and it's not in this example, will be a link to your Zoom link. So we ask the teachers to put the Zoom links everywhere. So if you don't know where they are, you'll find them pretty much in the course headquarters. You'll find them above here. So there will be Zoom links for our live meetings, and there'll be one per, we'll talk about that later, but they'll basically, I'll talk about how that works. Along with that, you'll find a week at a glance. So one of the feedback that we got from parents, I think I can jump to this next screen. There we go. There's a week at a glance. We're going to find at each week folder, you're going to find a week at a glance, and that's going to give you a snapshot as a parent. What does my student, what does my child have to do this week? So as a parent, that's invaluable to me. I'm actually thinking about printing them out each week, putting them on the fridge and say, you know, Sophie, my daughter, this is what you have to do each week. This is when you're live. This is the work that you have to do. And it gives me a clear snapshot of everything I need to do. So that's a thing that we really got from the feedback, that really parents wanted that and needed that. So I'm hopeful that all classes, every teacher will have that K-12 once again. Along with that, you're going to see daily folders. So you see we have these week folders. The first week is the first 2 days. The second week will be that second week that we start prior to Labor Day holiday, where that's 4 full days. All right, so week 1 will only have Thursday and Friday in there, and then week 2 will have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because we have Friday off. So you'll see these are very sequential, and that inside each one of those weeks, you'll have exactly what you're doing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. As the week rolls out, you will not most likely see the additional days. So if it's on Monday, you're only going to see Monday's lesson. If it's on Tuesday, you're only see a Tuesday's lesson. The whole structure of this is that it's designed very much like bricks and mortar. It is not where students can go in and work at their own pace and work weeks ahead or not come to school for a week. We expect children to come to school every day and jump in there and collaborate live with their teacher, much like they do in class in bricks and mortar, and engage with that content and those assignments each day. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into our live sessions and just kind of navigate through these and show you exactly what they look like from a student's perspective. So right now we're in the live class for grades 3 through 12. So you can see we have our welcome banner up here. We have our class link. So when I click on this on a Chromebook would automatically open the Zoom link and activate that Zoom program. I'm going to show you that in a second. In our course headquarters, when you go in here, you'll see that there's all that information I talked about. This is a fake course headquarters that we set up to display this. So you're going to see Miss Mary Jones here, her email, and her direct phone number. During the day, these phone numbers are active, but they will go to a voicemail. That voicemail gets converted to an email and gets sent right to our teachers instantly. So if you do leave a voicemail, the teachers will get that in their email at home and they can ring you back. You'll see that we set up a phone system that the number will come from Exeter School District. So the teachers will ring you back through an automated system. And it'll appear as Exeter Township School District when they call you back. Along with that, you'll find these additional links. You can click on any of these links down here to access the links. You will see on the left for 3 through 5, or actually, excuse me, 5 through 8. We believe that this is how we're going to do attendance. The students will need to log in each day. I know this changed. We might add this for high school as well, but currently it's 5 through 8. The students will go in and click on this link and mark themselves as present in the morning. So it's basically we're seeing that they're signing in on time, much like they're getting into the buildings on time. So we do expect students to arrive to their Schoology classrooms on time, much like bricks and mortar, and check in at that attendance. At the high school level, I believe the teachers are going to be doing that through the class structure. In the elementary buildings in K through 4, the teachers will also be doing that in the morning meetings when the students check in for their morning meetings. So that's kind of a quick overview of the 3 through 12. Now I'm going to jump over to the K through 2 and just show you a little bit of differences in here. So in the K through 2 class, you can see Ms. Dow put this awesome presentation, a little bit about herself up here, and use some Bitmojis to welcome. So we're going to make a little more animated for the younger students and to engage them as much as possible. You're going to see that when I go now down to a course, you're going to see that the folder is still here with a week at a glance. We're going to have our course headquarters here. This is going to be the Zoom link to access the live class. But when we go into the day folders, you're going to see that it's broken down by content area. So instead of having sublinks in your secondary class, so if we go into the secondary class, I forgot to go in here, let me just show you. You're going to see that in each one of these secondary classes, they're broken down by the components of the lesson. So in the secondary class 3 through 12, you're going to see that each individual part of the lesson is broken down. And this is largely because these things are different. So if you look here, this is an interaction with a video and some writing. This is the discussion forum. This is another interaction, and there's even an assessment. So the secondary has the days broken down into chunks that are very manageable for our students. We want to break down the learning into components so they can take little bits at a time, because we know this is hard to be online all day, and we want to kind of break this up. It is critical, and you'll see that inside each one of these, that we actually have collaboration components where they might break out into discussion forums, and that's actually what this warm-up Please Do Now is. It's a discussion forum where kids get online and they discuss kind of in a chat format about a context of that lesson. So in the secondary, you're going to see, or I'm sorry, elementary, you're going to see that they have this broken down. The reason for this is, and these are broken down into 3 very clear sections, is that these are the live parts. So when they click on this link, that's the part that they're going to be live from 9:20 to 11. So we wanted to really make it as simple as possible for our younger students to have less clicking, less interactions, and try to really get that technology out of the way and focus on the learning and the interactions with other students. So you're going to see that it's very simple. And as you go into these, it's going to have the links to the lessons or the links to the videos very sequentially right there, and the materials in one page that the students go into. So really, as a parent, if you have a younger student in kindergarten, you could click on this link at 9:20, set up their Zoom link, and they would be good till 11 o'clock. So we really are trying to make this as easy as possible. There was a question this morning about our childcare is going to be able to do this, and absolutely. I don't think as long as they get the kids in, and we could send this video to them or help childcare. So if there's questions out there, I know our superintendent has asked us to reach out to childcares, and if they need help of getting students on and really giving them a little instruction, we can do that as well. So please let us know if that's a need or if you have any problems with that. That's kind of the overview of the course. I'm going to stop there, Ms. Dow. Is there any additional questions or anything you want to add to that?
No, Mr. Wilczek, I think maybe we're a little more clear this afternoon, since we've done this evening, we've done this once already. But no, I just want to emphasize, and I don't want anyone to think you're going to see exactly per page what Mr. Wilczek is showing you. There is some variation by teacher of what they're putting in there. And as our students in that K through 2, the primary really will be simple at first, but we may build upon that and have them do a little more, but we will not do that without support.
Right. So it's going to be a slow process. We know this is new for everybody, and we want to make sure that kids are comfortable, that the gradual release of information is there, and that they're progressing together. And we say this all again, like one kid that is struggling is not okay. Everybody's being on the same page. We have to have every student understand this and progress with it and support them. So we're here to help. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, is we really are here to help. So if you have problems or they're struggling at home, please let us know. The question came up this morning about really what happens if the internet goes down. And, it does at times, much like in school. What happens if the power goes out? What happens if we get snow one day? We're going to work through that. We are working on developing contingency plans, and we'll have probably a folder in here that potentially you could download and save to the Chromebook for offline use. So if this teacher says, hey, if our internet goes down or the power goes out during that day, you would have access to the materials that you can continue on. We will be recording as much as possible live videos, and when we do live sessions, if a student is sick, they potentially could go back and review those live lessons to the best of our ability. So some of that will be done, and we're going to make sure that we offer all opportunities to all students so they can learn. And that's the critical component of this. I wanted to jump into this screen. I was actually on a teacher view. You'll see that as a student too. I just want to show you a couple quick things in Schoology. on the left side, they're not going to see a lot of stuff. So you're going to see that the materials tab on the left side is going to really take them to the class. It's kind of like walking in the front door of the classroom. The updates is actually just a running record of the things that are posted at the top of the class. You'll see grades in here. And then the members are all the names of the students that are in this class. Like we said, student attendance will appear that it's currently on this pilot class, but it'll only appear for certain classes. And then grades. So I want to talk a little bit about grades. At the lower levels, we're not going to be doing a lot of assessment right away until kids get comfortable. As you go up, there are going to be grades in Schoology, and as a parent account, I'm going to show that in a second. You can go in and see the grades and the assignments that students are completing. You will not see other students' assignments as a parent. So when you go in, if they have a discussion forums, the other students will be hashed out so you can't see their names or what they wrote for confidentiality reasons. The grades are posted. So when you do assignment in Schoology, the grades may be posted here, but the official grade book will, and always has been, Skyward. So if you want to see actually what your grades are, so I always say that the assignment grades, so if they do an assignment in here, will be posted here. But the final grade and the grade calculation for the quarter grade will actually be in Skyward. So if you're looking at just an assignment, you can look in here for grades, but overall the Schoology grades will be reflected in the just the assignment grade. Along with that, in the upper right-hand corner, I'm currently logged in. Actually, let me jump back here. So we click on my name here, you'll see that you have a profile. So students can go in and update their picture in their profile with an appropriate picture. You'll see the IF53 notifications here. So when I click on those notifications, that's kind of where students are going to see the information of things that are due or potentially messages that are sent, feedback from teachers. You'll see that I don't have any upcoming assignments or events, but as teachers start loading upcoming assignments and events for our older students, they will appear here on the right under the calendar. So the calendar will list actually all the assignments that are coming up in the next 2 weeks. And you can actually click on those links right here, and parents will have them as well. So it kind of gives you an idea of really, and this is more for the older students, all those assignments that are in there. And lastly, up here, there is this mail button. This is different than the Gmail that all students have. So all students have a Gmail account. That Gmail account is restricted and they can only email each other or their teacher. So you can't even email students in there. That's the best way to filter email. So really we have that filter to the point that it's really only an internal email system. However, we found that students don't like email. They feel like it's old. It's antiquated and slow. So they love this little mail button, which is right embedded in Schoology, and they can click on that and message their teacher. And it's more like a, we call it Schoology chat, which is kind of like your text messaging on an iPhone or an Android phone. So we found that the students really, quite frankly, migrated to that. And that's where we communicate largely with our students because it is more of an instant way than an email system. Beyond that, you're going to see that the courses are in the upper left-hand corner. So when you click on courses, you're going to see that I have my 12 courses listed out here. If I go to the Schoology homepage, which is actually just clicking on the Schoology badge or the eagle head in the upper left-hand corner, this is the default landing page when you first log in. So as a student, you might have to train, or as a parent, you might have to help your students figure out where their courses are. It's just under the courses button, and you'll see your courses listed right here. And you can click in your courses. I'm going to show you quickly how to rearrange these, but because my recommendation for the younger students is move those courses towards the top of the class. So you can see I have a couple down here that I'm not using. Put the ones that they're going to use at the top so they can easily get to them. So if you click on this Schoology icon up here, then in the course dashboard, it's going to list all these courses. So once again, if you click on Schoology, this takes you to kind of like your running record and then course dashboard. You're going to see that I can go in here and rearrange these by dropping and dragging them around. All right, so we can drop them anywhere we want. So if we want to move this one up here, so now you're going to see that they reflect that up here. So I just switched those two. So it's a really nice tool. You can kind of move those courses around. You'll see that we really want teachers to post a picture of their face. So this is from last year during this emergency remote learning. We had their teachers' faces up there so they can readily see what courses they have. Ms. Dowd, do you want to talk about the homeroom course at the lower grades?
I'm sorry, Mr. Wilczek, could you ask me that question one more time?
The homeroom course at the lower grades, they're going to be
Yes.
focusing on the homeroom only courses.
Absolutely. So Because Schoology populates from Skyward, and in Skyward there is a class for ELA and a class for math, etc. All of those classes come over into Schoology. But you're in the lower grades, in grades K through 3, the only course your student will use with their classroom teacher is their homeroom. So that homeroom course is where all their work will be. 4th and up will be by subject area, but K through 3 will just be the homeroom. Specials, however, specialists will each have their own classroom. So you will see something for art and something for music, et cetera, and the students will go to there and your teachers will explain, like, again, don't worry about when to do that quite yet. That will all happen as the school year starts and schedules come out, and and teachers explain that all to everyone.
Perfect. So Lynn, I see you have a question about where can my 2nd grader get the Clever badge? If you didn't retrieve it from when you picked up the Chromebook, I know our teachers in 2nd grade were actually printing them out. So let me look into that. I'm going to actually talk to them.
Mr. Welchek.
Go for it.
Yep. If you would like to print out, we have given them out only with the kindergarten iPads. However, you can actually log into Clever itself, and I will. You go to in the feed I posted, and I will repost in the YouTube feed the link to go to the Clever portal, and just go to the student's name at the top once you log in, and it gives you the option to print out a badge.
Perfect. All right, and then we'll put that on the website, that help site. We'll get that out there as well. If you don't get them by the first day or you need help, just put a ticket in with your name and your student's name, and we'll make sure we get that to you. We can email it to you with a personal account or whatnot. We recommend printing them out, and when you print one, print 2 or 3. So when they tear them, because they do wear on paper, they do need to be kind of clean, so the codes work well. You can print them as big as you want. Actually, printing them a little bit bigger actually works better, I find. I see in the YouTube chat, I got a code. They were talking about, I think, codes for Schoology. I'm going to jump in and show you quickly how to access and log into Schoology. The Schoology codes, if you didn't receive all your Schoology codes for your children, we've heard this, they are in Skyward. So when you log into Skyward, there's a report now where you retrieve the password for students. We loaded all those Schoology password codes for parents yesterday, the day before. So we just did that. So look in there and you should have them. Those codes are tied to the student. So if both parents or parents are separated, that code is one code for that student. Multiple accounts or multiple parents can use that code. So that code is kind of your student's code to create a parent account. So for that, if you go, I need to log out of Schoology here. If you go to Schoology.com, someone asked me this earlier today. There is a sign up button in the upper right hand corner. When you click on parent, it's probably going to log me in. Let me log out. When you go to the sign up button, it'll go right to parent, and that's the code that you put in. You can put in your first student's code there. So you can the first time you do it, you only put one student in. Once you get in the upper right hand corner of your profile picture, there'll be an option to add additional students. So you can just start with one student and then add additional students. Is there any other information, questions you see, Ms. Dow or Mr. Calamita? Nope. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's jump into Zoom. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what Zoom is. So Zoom is our video conferencing tool. Last year we used Google Meet. That is good, but we wanted breakout rooms. One of the tenets that I've been talking about a lot tonight is really we want kids to work with each other and click breakout rooms, and Zoom has those and is a little more robust. It is an app on the Chromebook that we pushed out. So I'm going to show you in the next slides and a couple basically interface. I'm actually going to go into a Chromebook and log into the Chromebook and show you kind of where that app is. And then I'm actually going to come back and I'm going to show you then how to log into the Zoom app and kind of what that looks like.
The Zoom application is going to be used extensively for live instruction. So what we did is we pushed out the actual program to all the Chromebooks, which those students will find in their program list. So one of my recommendations is that they actually pin it to the bottom here, but they often won't need to go into the program. So as long as they're logged into the program, when they click on the Zoom link, which is going to be housed in the Schoology class, it'll take them right to that program. It is slightly different for kindergarten. We're going to show you that in a second. But basically, when we go into the programs, you're going to see this Zoom program. So when you click on that, it's actually a separate program that's installed on the physical Chromebook. The one thing students need to make sure is that they're signed into the program. So once I get here, you're going to see that it's looking for like a personal meeting ID and a screen name and the password, and we're not going to have those. We're just going to have the link. So if I click the sign in button, you're going to see a sign in with Google right here. And we're going to select that. When you get to this screen, it may ask you for your username. So they're going to have to enter your username. This will retain. So I'm going to ask, enter our student account and the password as well. So parents of younger students are going to want to do this for them so that it stays after the first time. So once we do that, everything should work. It'll load their account, and you'll see in the upper left-hand corner, we now have the account set up. You can see in the upper right-hand corner, there are some features. They're pretty generic, so you don't really need to change any, but everything is in here from the audio that you automatically join by audio, which instead of calling through the phone. You can mute your mic by default when you go in and automatically adjust microphone, which I kind of like. But that's pretty much it. So when they click on the link inside the Schoology class, you're going to see that it takes them right to that program. So if I open up my Schoology class and go to the link at the top of all the Schoology classes, it'll take them right into that program.
So that's kind of how you set up that initial course, Zoom account. And then I'm going to show you now how to kind of access that Zoom account. I do see some questions about the Schoology accounts. As soon as I show you this, I'm going to go back. I'll loop back around on that. So I see the questions popping up on the YouTube channel.
So inside each Schoology class, you will find the Zoom link right here, and that'll allow us to get into our live classes. So when we click on that link, it'll take us directly into the live class as long as you're logged into the Zoom application that is installed on the Chromebook. So we pushed all the Zoom applications to the Chromebook, so just make sure you go to that first, log in, and when you click on the Zoom link, it'll automatically work. If something fails, you just need to kind of log into the Zoom link and then go back here, or the app, and come back here and then click on this link and it will work. But it's pretty stable. So as long as we click here, there's one little thing here. When you click on this, it gives you an in-between screen, and then it looks kind of like it's not going to do anything. Be patient with it. It kind of says join a meeting, and then you'll see that it automatically connects, and it will take us right in to the meeting. It takes up to 20 seconds to get in here, so just be patient with it. So now that we're in the meeting, you can see that they're automatically unmuted our microphone. So if I want to mute our microphone, we can click on the mute button. We can click on the start video button right here as well to start the video. At the bottom, there will be a couple options depending on how the teacher configures the Zoom meeting. So if they want to see a list of other students, you can see them here. And the teacher might use the chat to send links or information to the students, and that's here as well. The share button is turned on this account, which will allow me to actually share my screen with the other students. And then in the upper right-hand corner, you have this gallery view, so you can see multi-view students at once. We call it the Brady Bunch view, so you have basically a pane icon of all the students on the cameras. So by default, that is on. So when you're seeing that gallery view, you'll see that it is on. There's also additional icons in the bottom of the participant pane. So if I have a question, I can click on that icon. It'll actually show the teacher that I have my hand raised. I can actually respond yes or no. I can ask them to go faster or slower, and there's other things, clapping, thumbs up, got it, thumbs down, and that kind of thing. So that's pretty much Zoom, a quick overview. It's quite easy to use once you get accustomed to it. I don't think the students will have too many issues with getting in the first time and getting ready, connected up with their teachers and other students. So to lead the meeting, all you have to do is hit the leave meeting button, and it'll close this out. It'll give you an in-between option, and you'll see it takes you back to this frame, and you can just close that out, and it'll put you right back into Schoology. So it is a separate program, so you will see it at the bottom, so you can kind of jump between the Zoom and Schoology if you need to. But while you're in there, you'll see that it's a separate program.
So the one caveat to that is in the iPad, it's going to be slightly different. So we're going to just show you quickly what that looks like. The iPad has one in between step, which is fine.
You do also, kindergarten families have that Zoom link. We do recommend, do go in. You'll see it looks very similar to what Mr. Wilczek showed you with the Chrome app. But I would suggest you sign in with your student's Google account. Notice it's down here in the bottom where it says Google. I would do that before the first day, and it will keep that login in Zoom. So if you do that, it's just like what Mr. Wilczek showed you, that I would log in with my Google account. I'm going to log in, and then that should keep you logged in at the Zoom app. You won't have to do that again. So you are now logged into Zoom. I'm not going to allow that. Okay. So now when I come, it's giving me lots of notifications. So now when I come to Schoology, to my classroom, I also, oops, it is asking me to sign back in again. I wonder if it's going to do that here again. Yep, it keeps asking me to sign in. Sorry about that. We'll just be patient and go ahead on through. Oops. The one extra piece that I wanted to show is that when I come in here and click on this live class Zoom link, I have one extra click on an iPad. So from here, it doesn't automatically launch like a Chromebook, but you do have a link that says launch meeting. So when I launch meeting, I can go ahead and open Zoom. I just wanted to make sure we pointed that out to show that it is one extra click. Now this meeting isn't started yet, so I cannot get into it, but you would just sit here until your teacher comes to the meeting. And once your teacher is in the meeting, it will open up for your child to be able to access it. So.
Yep. So thank you, Ms. Al. So one of the things that's going to happen with all this is that once we get comfortable with this, it's going to be a lot easier, right? So we know that this is going to be a little bit of a struggle for the first day or two. The teachers are going to take their time, and those first 2 half days are really those support days. Someone asked earlier, can we set up a Zoom link ahead of time? And that's really those 2 first days. We're going to get kids in. We know they're going to struggle to get in. We're not going to set any grading expectations. If they struggle to get in, that's the time that we're going to help everybody get in. So we hope by that first full day on the next week, all, if not almost every last student is in and comfortable with how those links work and those logins, but really get those logins on your machine logged in. So go to Zoom, go to Clever, and just get logged in. And those logins really retain once they're logged in there. It is trying to save that, and you'll see that now that each student has their own device, it'll help that a lot. So I think you'll see that helps a lot. There is some questions. I see questions over there.
I have a few questions here.
Yep. You want to take care of the one at the YouTube first, because I wanted to look at this quick. So
yeah, sure.
Rochelle, the other ID in Skyward is not the code for Schoology. I looked at why those were going. As I was talking about the login, I looked at your account, and for some reason you don't have the Schoology parent account in there, but you have a password only. So when you are trying to retrieve these passwords, just to clarify, you log into the parent account on Skyward. You go all the way down to the third from the bottom tab called Portfolio. Portfolio is where we leave stuff for for teachers to access, report cards, anything that's kind of like a printed document, we can actually dump in that portfolio. So the password should be in that portfolio along with that Schoology account. I looked at your account, I don't see it. So I'm gonna look at that after this and try to figure out what's going on there. So you should see stuff in there. Actually, I'm looking again. Actually, it is there. I just missed it. So you should see 2 links there. The description is Schoology parent access code. It's just what happens is it's not alphabetical. It's kind of weird. So it is in there, and I even missed it when I just looked quick. So it is actually there. And there's another report for student password report that are in there. You do have to run them separate, and it processes it. So it takes about 10 seconds, and then it'll pop up with a view that you can do that. So that is in there. It is not, though, the other ID. So you have to find the portfolio tab on the left. Ms. Dow, what else do we have? I saw a couple in parent
So
questions.
someone else did ask, they missed where they said the code is for parents account in Schoology, and I think you just covered that because you
Yep.
talked about in that portfolio piece. Question about Zoom and breakout rooms. Does the teacher do that or the kids? The teachers control the breakout rooms. Students cannot create or move between breakout rooms. So just like in a physical classroom, a teacher will put students into groups, they will take students and put them into a specific breakout room and assign them. The teacher moves between them to help students, to check on students, and this teacher can pull them out and close those rooms at any time. So students can't just create a room and hop in with another student. So great question there. Will high school students have all the classes with their teacher by Zoom? Not all of their classes. They will. There is a schedule that's been released. I believe it's in the virtual plan. So you will see that in that virtual plan, the sample schedule, but they will have class for a period every other day. So actually, if they're in a block class, they will see their teacher live every day, but not for the full period. It will be the first half one day, and then on the opposite day, it will be the second half. And if they're in a strip class, we call a strip class a class that happens all year, that class, they will see a teacher every other day in Zoom, and then they will have work to do outside of there.
We got this question this morning. They are following basically the same schedule that would have in bricks and mortar. So the classes, same student numbers, same student enrollment. The schedules really didn't change much. We tried to mirror them as much as possible, quite frankly, because we hope we go back physically as soon as possible. We wanted to keep this as much like bricks and mortar class as possible. So yeah.
And I have one more question. It says, I'm having trouble logging into the parent Schoology account. It tells me that my email address is reserved. I thought it may be, so anyway, if you're having error with that, reach out to us. Definitely put a ticket in or send an email to Mr. Wilczek or I. Probably ticket is the best way so we can find out what's going on with that account and why it's saying it's reserved.
Mrs. Dow, I can answer that question.
Oh, you can. Thank you, Mr. Calamita.
I believe I can. If you are a Exeter employee and you are using your My Exeter account to register as a parent, you will need to use a different email account. So you can use your Exeter SD email address, or you can use any other email address. If you're using a school that has Schoology, so if you were to work, say, in Wilson and you're using the Wilson email address, you will get that same message. Those email addresses are reserved only for people involved with Exeter as their account, not as a parent. But there is a way that you can connect those two accounts after the fact.
Those are all the questions I have. I think this last piece here, this website is a great shortcut for you, etsd.us/here to help. This website has anything from our technology department you may need, from signing up for a Chromebook sign out to getting a help ticket. There's a frequently asked questions here. It's a great home base and a place for you to start if you need help from us technology wise. Mr. Wilczek, do you have anything to add as we wrap up here?
Just looking over the thing. Did we talk about insurance? I forget.
We did.
Okay. I can't remember which group is which.
Yeah, I know it's hard when we've done this. This is our second one today, so we want to make sure we're covering all the bases.
Yeah, I think that's it. So this is that portal page that I showed you with all the information, and these videos will be posted to that page, and you can find these videos on the district website as well. I'm going to jump back all the way to that first page. So if you have any additional questions, please send them to that link. We will follow that link after this. So if you have anything, other questions that you need, please check that out. But we appreciate your time. That's our hour with you tonight, and we look forward to having your students or your children with us, our students with us really next week. We're excited to be back. We really missed them, and we look forward to really trying to do our best here and working with them. Ms. Dow, anything else?
No, that's it. I think a lot of folks are talking about Exeter Strong lately, and I can tell you as a fellow teacher in this district that our teachers right now are working tirelessly to be able to support your students as best we can in the fall and keep connections with them. And they're going through lots of trainings of reconnecting with your students, and we want to make sure they feel welcome back and safe, and that we have rigor and relevance in our learning, but we do that in a smart way that makes sure we're supporting your students and your children and you. So this is not the end for us. We are here to support you. We are available through that ETSDUS here to help, and we want to make sure if you're having troubles, if there's a struggle, that you reach out to us, because if you get frustrated, then your child gets frustrated and the teacher's frustrated, and that's not good for anybody. So do know that please reach out to us. We want this, there's going to be, some days are going to be good, some days are going to be bad, just like with brick and mortar, right? When our students come home from school, I have 3 children of my own and I know how that goes. So just know that each day we're going to do our best to keep Exeter strong. And we thank you again for your time tonight.
Thank you. Have a good night and look forward to seeing everybody next week. Thank you.